Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast. Solly here, Sunday pod, recording on a Friday. Weekend off for the gang. I don't know when the last time we had one of these was. My guy TC is here. Hello, TC.
Hello, Solly. I'm enjoying the off season, man. We got a few more days of it. It's been a great off season this week, and just hanging out with my family, doing my off season workout program, a cleanse, all sorts of stuff. Ready to get back at it for Napa next week.
Golfers need a break, man. They need a break. It's just too long of a season. KVV is here. Hello, Kev.
So I'm doing great. I heard when we came up with this idea that you needed some ex-football player who was washed but not canceled, and that is me.
We're going to get into our concept here shortly. Speaking of washed but not canceled football players, Mr. Neil Schuster is here. Hello, Neil.
Greetings. Fired up to be here. Excited about our topic today.
Neil might be canceled, not washed.
No, that's not true.
I don't know. Have you guys seen the ball customizer tool on Titleist.com? Like, I honestly had not messed around with it until they sent this over today. You can customize. You can choose any custom play number, all the way from 00 to 99. So we could do some football jersey numbers in there. Neil, you can put your 38 on your ball if you wanted to. There's
32.
hundreds of different icons and licensed logo options. You could do there's a bunch of licensed MLB stuff in there. You could do some Cincinnati Red stuff if you really wanted to. There's 40 different. This is one that got me. There's 40 different alignment aid designs, like a ton of different options for alignment aids. So it was like, I started clicking around in there. I was like, ooh, I'd like to try that. I'd like to try that. I'd like to try that. Just got me. You can add initials, personalized messages, all that stuff. Got me really thinking about, like, this would be a perfect gift to get somebody. If somebody invites you to a member guest or something, and you're looking for, or a birthday gift or anniversary gift, some customized golf balls with some, cool designs or numbers or messages on there are a really great idea. So whatever golf ball model you play, whether it's Pro V1, Pro V1X, Left Dash, AVX, head over to Titleist.com and check out the golf ball customizer tool. It is fantastic. And if anything, it'll help you pass some time. So, and
That would actually be a really good way to talk trash too.
Well, I've been
Put your
using it
own
for 6
ball
months.
card.
I marked my ball with Pro V2. It's my customization.
I want to give also a shout out to One Bar. All protein bars generally taste the same, but not One Bars. One made protein bars that are actually delicious with Reese's and Hershey's.
Bar.
Only one Reese's Peanut Butter Lovers protein bar is made with Reese's Peanut Butter. Only one Hershey's Cookies and Cream protein bar is made with Hershey's Cookie Bits. Each co-branded bar delivers 18 grams of protein and 3 grams of sugar. One also has other delicious flavors like birthday cake, maple glazed donut, and blueberry cobbler, which contain 20 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. One Bar is the perfect protein bar to get you through your busy day, whether you need a quick pickup between meetings or need some fuel to power you through your workout. One Bars are the perfect treat. Find all One Bars at a retailer near you or Amazon.com. TC,
I've been beating up deleting One Bars for years. I'm fired up to have them helping us out with the pod. They are. I don't know. They're fantastic.
What's your flavor, Neil?
Cookies and cream?
Yeah, me too.
It's fire. So there you have it.
We're gonna need the fuel today because this is gonna be an energy pod. I have a feeling. TC, why don't you introduce today's concept? What are we gonna be doing today?
We're building a football team from golfers. This is one of the first articles we ever did on the website. We broke it into offense and defense. Neil led the charge on that, but all of us kind of contributed. And we did all 22. We did it plus some kickers, some punters, some specialists, all of that. So we're looking at physical traits. Guys can only play one position. We're not doing a Travis Hunter, Deion Sanders kind of thing where we've got two-way players. You gotta stick to one position. I think live guys are eligible, PGA Tour guys, Korn Ferry guys, DP World Tour guys, Champions Tour guys.
100%.
We'll shout out maybe some guys that are no longer with us, but potentially would have been great fits, great physical specimens that played on this team long ago. We got to figure out what kind of scheme we want to run. We got to see, hey, do we want to run this scheme based on our talent and our roster composition, or do we want to choose our scheme and then build out the roster? That's kind of a chicken or the egg situation.
I think you always got to lead with personnel. As somebody who played on a college team that tried to fit personnel to scheme, does not work. All right. Do you have the athletes up front? Can they move their feet? If they can't, then don't run the fucking spread option. It's that simple.
Sounds very, very personal and on the nose.
For sure.
You guys are the ball knowers here. I'm going to kind of be quarterbacking here. I'm going to be kind of playing faux GM here, kind of like a Jerry Jones situation. Like I'm going to be in the room, helping make the final pick, even though I got no business making that final pick. I think back to that scene of I think it was Hard Knocks where Jerry Jones selected Felix Jones because he went to Arkansas. I just remember that being like, there's like 20 other people in the room I think that should be making this decision over Jerry Jones. But you guys are the ball knowers. You guys are going to be throwing a lot at us. We're going to organize it. We're going to take a bunch of nominations, and then on the back end, we're going to fill out the actual roster. And you're going to keep a spot. We're going to try to do this annually, and like you have this spot essentially for a year. We're going to need to see some things out of you over the next year to keep that spot, and we're going to keep our eyes scouting on future guys that could be up and coming. Some depth options on the team as well.
If you slip, next gin up.
Yeah,
we got to go.
Question, KVV, how's your Mel Kiper impression?
Decent. I'm ready to break it out if needed.
I might need you to bring it. Todd. Great agility. This guy projects to the high second round, maybe a low third round. I don't know. Some character flaws.
Here's the thing about Tiger Woods: you got to get some injuries. Got to see some scandals. Is he going to get suspended? What's going on? Is Fred Ridley going to come in and question his morality in the middle of the thing?
I was hoping somebody would pull out a piece of pumpkin pie to have for breakfast this morning. That's my favorite Mel Kiperism.
Not Fred Ridley. Sorry to Mr. Ridley.
Well, you go so fast with Mel that you get tongue tied. You almost got to have your script dialed. That guy's a national treasure.
More of a Daniel Jeremiah guy at this point, personally, but
See, this is where I'm already confused, guys. So, TC,
Sully's just calling in from his yacht.
I get really good reception. I'm on Starlink out here. But TC, you got some news and notes for us before we get going? I know this is kind of our weekly Sunday pod, but we're kind of taking a different direction this week.
Yeah, as this is a Sunday pod, wanted to just a roundup of things that happened in the golf week this week, or in the golf world this week. I saw the Rock Creek Park they got approved last night, in spite of the people dressing up as bats and trees and all sorts of stuff. This is, of course, the National Links Trust, some of their plans to reinvigorate municipal golf in our nation's capital. So just wanted to congratulate them on, I know they've put a lot of work into it. Some of it's with the National Park Service or with various DC entities. So happy for them and happy they could defeat some of the true wackos in our society.
These are my people, TC. All right. Everyone knows where my leanings are, but I can't get to the bat. People dress like bats.
So wanted to congratulate them. Casali, our guy CPG, Club Pro guy, potentially hanging it up.
He has announced his retirement on social media. Just a true artist, the likes of which we will never see again. He was a part of a different era of Twitter. Comedy is probably leaving Twitter for good if it hasn't already, and don't know the impetus behind the decision, but he did that for so freaking long. It's kind of remarkable. So wanted to shout him out and congratulate him on a heck of a career and best of luck in his retirement. Hopefully he gets to play some casual golf and not take the game as seriously as he did.
Yeah, there was far more meat on that bone than I ever imagined.
Seriously.
One of the best NLU pods of all time. We feel like we should re-up it just for as a tribute to him.
I think it's episode 105. If you want to go back and listen, probably still our most downloaded episode of all time. But that was the kickoff. That was what started things. I wish I wish we would have invested in him or whatever he turned that thing into. It was just absolutely remarkable.
Next up, there's news of a big match upcoming.
We're gonna settle this PGA Tour versus Live once and for all. No,
Sully, I was talking about the Jimmy Fallon versus DJ Khaled match.
Sorry,
I saw the press release for yesterday.
No, that gets you.
What are you talking
hot
about?
And bothered, TC?
What match are you talking about, Sully?
Obviously the one DJ Khaled's playing in. He's finally actually getting to play in one of these matches. But
that's all you famously reported that DJ Khaled said he was playing in the match. You were not wrong. You were just early.
I wasn't wrong then either. But though challenged, not wrong.
No, we're talking about the Brooks Bryson versus Scotty and Rory match that'll be in Vegas later this year, and Eamon Lynch reported that. As it's been reported, it sounds like Scotty and Rory kind of going rogue a little bit with the tour, taking things into their own hands and show by example or lead by example. And hey, let's get the golf world back together. And obviously frustrated with the lack of clarity or progress in the negotiations. And
How about Scotty kind of flexing a little bit? Rory totally makes sense, but Scotty going along with it surprised me a bit.
for sure.
Yeah.
Sally, any thoughts?
Well, I don't know exactly. Like if they steer into this being like a fun entertainment product, yes. I don't know if like where it depends on what kind of the format is. My whole thing with all of these things, like there's got to be some stakes, right? There has to be like
Yeah.
something. Just make the loser have to do something unserious. Doesn't have to be anything. It could be a pie in the face for all I care about. But like, give me some reason to like be curious who actually wins, right? Because if the PGA Tour guys win, it's not like it's like the PGA Tour guys almost have nothing to gain by this, right? If they get beat by the Live guys, they're going to get roasted, and it's going to be like whatever. And it's almost they just have like nothing to gain from doing that unless there's like something fun related to this, right? Like a lot of these silly season hit and giggles have struggled, I think, when there aren't like actual, there's no reason to be curious about who wins, right? That's the whole kind of point of watching a sporting event. The Netflix Cup was a disaster because like nobody cared who actually won that thing. So I hope that with this much time to go, just give me something stupid. They could be like the winners have to make the losers say something that they don't want to say into the camera. Like the PGA Tour guys have to say Phil was right. The Live guys have to say I'm a soulless sellout. Do something like that. Just do something fun like that would make you not want to lose that thing, and all of a sudden the competitive nature of it gets really interesting.
I feel like, they could do the Broncos country let's ride, or
Sure, yes.
shots, explosive.
Which, Randy still hasn't filmed that video, TC. I know we're
FLC
I
doesn't
still
talk
have
about
it.
here,
I
but
still got to go do the Waffle House thing.
25 hours.
Maybe Bryson and I can do the Waffle House thing. Plus 5 hours?
No, 25 hours.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
25 hours.
Yeah.
Minus
The extra
whatever
one because
waffles
Fleetwood
eat.
didn't win the Open Championship.
Anyway, I think Rory's up to something. I think Rory, between this and his comments on I'm only going to play 19 or 20 times next year, with like, all right, that's the 4 majors, the players. He's going to
4-year
play in
big
some
bet.
DP World Tour events. Like that's way less than a full schedule on the PGA Tour these days with the signature events. So,
In fairness, Rory says a lot of things. it might
true.
he very well may play more than that many events. He may change his mind by the time we've gone to record this.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what he's up to, because it seems like I don't know if there's back channeling going on or what, but it seems like, all right, you know what? Like I'm gonna throw my cards on the table, and I'm not gonna go with the program here with the PGA Tour. And it seems like all these guys are just pissed, which
But like
I
I don't
love.
I would be, if I was in anyone's position, I would be hesitant to like fully hitch my wagon to the PGA Tour right now. I mean, like he's already done that and made it look like a fool on a lot of occasions. Like, doesn't feel like it's on a great trajectory. I mean, I don't think he owes the PGA Tour anything more at this point.
Anyway, we can talk about all this on a future golf specific
Sure.
podcast. Lastly, I just thought it was interesting. I've been tracking the Callaway Top Golf spin-off thing the last couple months, and Callaway announced this week that they're going to spin off Top Golf, but they're going to keep Top Tracer in house, which I thought was really really interesting. And we'll see what happens with that.
I've been following that very closely, TC. I find it fascinating. I think on paper, I didn't disagree with the strategy. Basically, let's try to make everyone go to top. Everybody that lives in my neighborhood should go to Top Golf. And if they do, they'll think of Callaway if they get into golf. In reality, that doesn't seem to have worked out. And I think there's a couple reasons why. If you go to Top Golf, I find it fun, but it's not golf. It's more like bowling.
Yeah.
And the fact that they haven't changed that strategy to where the top deck is the corporate outings and the darts, the bowling, the arcade, basically, and the bottom is like a serious driving range where I can work on my game and
fittings
and
or-
use Callaway clubs. Maybe they ran out of time, maybe like things kind of the sand shifted a little bit under them. But I think the problem is you look at like they're building one out on Long Island that you'll pass on like the Northern Parkway or 495 or something. I mean, the footprint of these things is crazy. So it's not like you can take that land and do something else with it. Like you got to knock down these nets I mean, I think they cost about $30 million to build. Again, on paper, it made sense, but it just hasn't, the synergies haven't aligned, it seems like. And it feels like they tried to keep expanding instead of, and they're operating, existing locations revenue is down, and that's tough, right? And feels like the corporate outing business is drying up a little bit. It's the problem with Topgolf is it is a bit of a one hit wonder. You go, you have fun, but it's like if you actually get into golf, like that's not where you're going to go to hit balls. So like it doesn't work anybody down the customer journey the way I think they predicted it would.
I do know somebody with a lot of money looking to get into golf. Topgolf to live.
Oh, interesting concept there. I mean, I guess you could rework it though. I mean, they do have the driving range. They do have the space to do like it shouldn't be that hard to change some of those bays or create certain real estate for, people that are progressing in their golf journey. It's just they're kind of stuck in that stage one right now, and they couldn't make it work. Now, I will say this though, Cal is also an investor in 5-iron, and I think the simulator stuff has legs in that same concept, where it's probably $3 to $5 million to build out a sim, maybe more, like depending on the city, maybe less. But that's where that model I think could work, where you do the fittings and it's a little bit more palatable as far as like capital invested and the path to return over the years. So
that's golf versus golf adjacent, right? Like,
exactly. Yeah. But but 5-iron, I think they thread the needle a little better because it's a party in there. They've got bars and you can go there to hang out. You can do corporate events, but also like anytime I go in there like during the day, I mean people are grinding. They're there to work on the simulator and they're doing lessons
got his
and all that
briefcase
stuff
with him. He's there to work.
It's a total business trip before 5 p.m.
Excuse me, quiet, please. I'm just trying to hit a shot here.
Can you hang up that phone, bro? I'm trying to work on my speed here.
You're too
Those
close.
were the things I was tracking this week in the golf space, just so we can before we get into our extremely dumb creating a football team.
Let's get into our extremely dumb thing because I'm very excited for this.
Should I run through just off the top names, right? Like, I mean, we got to turn over this depth chart, but what we did back in 2014.
Yeah, let's just run through our, who's on the team from 2014, who's been on the team for the last decade.
Yeah, the original squad was at quarterback, Philip Alfred Mickelson. Running back, we had Gary Woodland, who was our featured workhorse. We had Ricky Fowler as our scat back. At tight end, we had Ricky Barnes. And then Alvaro Quiros. Then we had wide receivers, Dustin Johnson, Keegan Bradley at flanker, the Z. We had Sergio Garcia in the slot.
We had write-ups and scouting reports for all these guys.
For all of them. We'll link both articles in the show notes so people can go back and read them. And then on the offensive, the hog mollies up front, we had Ernie Els at right tackle, John Daly at right guard, Kevin Stadler at center, Kiradek Api Bonrat at left guard, and Brendan de Jong at left tackle. God, these names are making me nostalgic. Special teams, Fred Funk at long snapper.
That makes me laugh so hard.
I'll read it. It's a short write-up. I'll read this one. Tenured veteran whose accuracy off the tee translates to tight spirals out his ass. Great locker room guy, been around forever, still getting it done, even when he plays with the big boys. Podrick Harrington, place kicker. And Sergio Garcia was our return specialist. So that was that's the offensive
guys
team.
could play two positions.
Well, that he could go special teams. Like that's not two positions.
Okay.
Now, do you want to take it offense and defense, or do you want me to read the defense out now too?
Just read the defense out too.
Okay. Yeah. On the defensive side of the ball, we have Robert Carlson at left end, Matt Kuchar at right defensive end, Henrik Stenson is kind of our backup D end, and Harris English is also. So we got a little rotation.
He was a developmental prospect. Harris was. We were going to try to get him in the program, put on a bunch of weight
on him.
DC called him a developmental keister stash. Defensive tackle Andres Gonzalez and KJ Choi. Big nasty. No, Big Nasty was Gonzalez, and then Beast Mode was KJ Choi. KJ Choi might still be playing for us right now.
There's a lot of Champions Tour guys that are still going to be playing for us.
Linebacking core, we have Adam Scott at strong side linebacker, Lee Westwood at middle linebacker, Bo Van Pelt at weak side linebacker, and then D block is Jason Day at free safety, and of course the Cat at strong safety. And then corners, we had Billy Ho and Camilo Villegas with Rory Sabatini as the nickel. And then we have Fred Funk, and we had Rory as the punter.
Wow.
So that's it. That's the 2014 All-Pigskin team. And we're here to update it.
Billy Horschel as, kind of blanket corner is
okay.
Good pick.
I have him there
super
still.
interesting because I feel like that's so much about attitude and mindset of like, put me out on that island.
No
I'm
one.
gonna lock
I'd
this
put him
dude
there
down.
right now. I still
Yeah.
like kind of a wily vet. He's mouthing off the whole game.
He does the little stuff right.
He'd be
Yeah.
so perfect for the QB that airmails the guy by 10 yards and gets up and does them. Like, nah. Locked
Yes.
up. He's locked up.
Let's start on offense, TC.
Before we do that, may I just give a shout out to our friends at Roback? There's a reason why we talk about Roback so much. There's probably not a day that goes by I don't wear some sort of Roback clothing. Not only are they a great supporter of our content, but they have it all. Shocker, I'm in a hoodie today. Went for the black one today. Perfect comfort for
Aggressive
around
colors.
the horse. I got my aggressive colors. Flags are going to be flying today. They work for literally almost any situation. Like, they're not too dressy. They're not too casual. You just feel great wearing them. That's the highest endorsement I can give a product. It's like what I want to be lounging around the house. And TC's got the hoodie on as well today as a shout out to Belichick. He did not cut the sleeves off of it, but I was hoping that he would.
Off this thing, but I like this hoodie too much to do that.
We got that AC pumping down here. I love the Bruce Wayne memes that are going around of all the people of like looking at the bat suit, like fall is coming, getting ready for the joggers and hoodies and all that. The crew necks are great material. They're great for any situation. The workout tees are great. I already burned through one of those this morning in a workout. Bathing suit is fantastic. Nothing more exciting than seeing a Roback package show up on your porch. If you haven't already, load up on some Roback for yourself or for others. Code NLU at Roback.com. Get you a generous 20% off your first order through the end of this week. RHOBACK.com. 20% off bottoms, Q-zips, hoodies, and more with code NLU. Fall is coming. Get cozy with Roback. All right, TC, let's go.
Do we want to throw out kind of, hey, these are the physical specimens that come to mind first, or do we just want to go straight?
I think we can
Hey,
just
we're
get right into
starting.
I think we
positions
got to
see
get
what-
right into it.
Okay.
Let's
I think
put a lineup together.
I think we need to build from the inside out. I think we need to go offensive line.
Okay.
first.
Okay.
And this is where, I go back to, we're allowed to use Champions Tour guys
Yes.
still.
We are.
Okay.
I think you have to factor in their age a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, there's some 40-year-old left tackles out there, right?
Sure.
And the guys that have the certain frame and certain style that can make it work. How old's Jawan Taylor now these days?
Well, it's like, Trent Williams.
That's who I'm
right?
thinking
I mean,
of,
Can I give you the
One of
center?
the champions was 50 years old, not
TC,
40.
let's start in the center of the
Still.
line. I'm putting John Rahm as my center.
Oh,
A Jason
Like
Kelsey
that.
pick, plays low, can move his feet. We're rallying around the butcher in the middle. Like, let him call the plays. A little bit of that Jeff Saturday, Peyton Manning vibe of like,
Yeah.
might be getting in the quarterback's face a little bit, making checks at the line. Yeah, give me Rahm just as the anchor piece at center.
Love that. Neil.
All right, Neil. I got at center Bob McIntyre, a guy who's going to get leverage, who's going to do dirty work, who's going to be like a bad dresser, kind of like just a non-personality on your team. He's going to wander through the hallways when everyone else is in their designer suits and like just a really like ugly shirt. I don't need like any ego at that position. I just need like a guy who's going to just get low and push around the pile.
It's always tough with these big guys, like where you put an offensive or defensive line. I had Big Bob out at right tackle as an option at right tackle. He strikes me as one of those guys that's going to have a false start or two a game and just kind of hang his head, but like everyone's like, no, focus, baby. You all right? Like, let's get back in this, like projects well, but still young. And we don't want him on the blind side.
What's McIntyre's sport, TC? It's not hurling, is it? Is that what
No,
he plays?
it's shinty.
Shinty, that's right.
Mean sport. I think I don't know, I struggle a little bit with Bob on the right side just because of height. Right? He's maybe 5'10", 5'11". Who do we
That's
have last time at center? Kevin Stadler. You worry about his fitness or him being able to
he's
keep
done.
that weight
Also,
on.
he's
Yeah, I
lost a
think
bunch of weight. I looked him up. He's dropped like 60 pounds or something. So
listen, I like the Rom pick. I was thinking along the lines of somebody really good feet, active, strong core. I was thinking like a Kurt Kitayama, even really good athlete, but I don't think he's got quite enough girth to him either.
I think
So
he can
I
be
like
girth.
Rom. I think we could throw a little bit more weight on him too, and
Do we want to
beef him
just
up.
throw out offensive lineman candidates and find positions for them in there?
Yeah. So I'll give you my rundown. I've got left tackle. I've got Leash as that Whitworth old school, like, man, or Villanueva for the Steelers back in the day of like, that guy doesn't look, he's not that, he's got great feet. He's been doing it a long time. He beats people with his mind. He's still at it. And then the young gun right behind him, Christo Lamprick. least just try to mentor him into that left tackle position.
Got to get him in the weight room, Neil.
Little lean for that, Verl, if I may say.
I mean,
yeah.
6'8", though. He's got the frame. He projects well. Like let's get our training staff with him. You
I'm
know?
an owner.
I think we're almost like an expansion franchise.
I'm an
Hey,
owner
like,
that
we're
wants to
trying
win
get
now.
guys in our
Guys,
program.
I want to win now. Okay.
But we can't go back.
Wow. Okay.
So then my guards, I've got Lowry, Shane Lowry. I mean, I'm struggling whether that he's offensive or defensive because he could also be on my, interior defensive line. I've got Sung Jae is, I think, an all-pro left guard. I feel like Sung Jae's pulling.
Neil, I had him at left guard as well.
He strikes me. He's just tailor-made as a left guard. Yeah. Like, give me Sung Jae all day long, getting out on the edge, helping with the screen game, move people in the inside run game, double team with Rom. I think he'd be a fantastic left guard. And then I've also got, kind of as a backup guard, Patrick Cantlay. The homie's got a low center of gravity. I mean, have you ever
very weird body shape?
He's got a world-class dumpy. Cantlay does not
strike do the technical stuff right,
but very good footwork. And I feel like inside, like he'd be pretty good on inside run games. I'm thinking put him at right guard, and then maybe we move Lowry, either move him out to tackle as a veteran, a guy that can kind of play multiple positions, or we move him to the defensive side of the ball and see if he can, be a run stopper for us.
I think I got a good spot for Lowry, but
I got all sorts of. I'm going to the olds a little bit more here. I love Sung Jae. I was throwing out Varner even as a guard or maybe a backup center.
Varner, Harold Varner.
Varner's tiny, TC.
He's so thick though.
You're not going to be able to run the ball at all, TC.
I mean, Varner and Ches are like both like Rudy. Like it's, I don't think
Harold Varner might be 5'9".
Yeah.
Do you think there's a single lineman in the NFL who's under 5'10"?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we save him for the defensive tackle side. Harry Hall was another one that I was throwing out, but I'm going. Listen, I know we had him on the defensive line last time. I'm going him on offensive line. That's Robert Carlson. This was our write-up last time. This burly Scandinavian is an absolute bomb threat on the left side. Flashes the ability to dip, rip, replace, and run. Can throw guys out of the bar. The dark places he's journeyed to with his golf game will only help fuel the monster inside. Measurables are through the roof. He's a Jay Billis approved 6'5". This big Swede flashes serious upside. Possesses active hands, but you'd like to see more burst and consistency. Boom bust potential. I'm moving him. I've seen him lately. He's still in great shape. Okay. I think him I think he's like early 50s. I think him and Thomas Bjorn. Thomas Bjorn is an absolute fucking unit. Okay. And Ernie.
These are old men.
Ernie's a
I know, but we got to modernize the team. We got to get younger, TC. We have to. We have
All right,
to.
listen, who else you got, TC, who's under 40? You got anybody left?
Yeah, I got like a Sammy Valimaki that we can.
Okay.
Oh, you know what?
That's a good one.
Patrick Fishburne. Big ass dude. He's like 6'4", 6'5". He's got, elite measurables. He's thick. He's a good athlete. He's in shape.
Can I ask why we haven't heard the name Harry Higgs yet?
Because I got him on defense.
Because I don't think Harry's in great shape, and I don't think Harry's actually that big.
Well, we kind of have to,
How big do you think Harold Varner is?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, we're gonna have to make some concessions because none of these guys are gonna actually be lineman size.
Yeah. Okay, why are we not having Sepp Straka first of all?
No, because I'm saving Sepp for defensive line.
Sepp is our run stopper.
This is the nomination. No, this is the nomination part, right? We'll figure out their roles. Sepp Straka should get nominated.
Okay. Sepp Straka, our Austrian boy by way of Georgia, is a unit, probably the biggest dude. This is what person we want protecting our quarterback. He's setting up on the left side and shutting everyone down. On the other side, we got Neil Shipley on the right tackle.
Ooh,
all right,
that's
he's
a great
6'3",
one. That's fantastic.
Loves the Waffle House. Loves the, this is an aggressive dude. Every good NFL team they've ever been on had a white guy with flowy hair who just was like a badass up front. It could not be blown off the ball. Neil Shipley, right tackle.
I like that.
I still got Kiradich hanging in at right guard. I think that he is this guy, great footwork, great low center of gravity, great attitude. Everybody loves him. He's been holding it down for 10 years. Maybe not a Pro Bowler anymore, but still a very solid person. Backups here, you can rotate some of these guys in. Ben On, huge dude. All right, absolute unit. You could put Ben on if you have to move Sepp to defense, you could put Ben at left tackle. Jason Kokrak also. He could play a little guard there.
Kokrak was on my list too. I think Kokrak's he's an Ohio boy.
Yep.
All that, and I think Ben On. You can't underestimate. Like he's willing to do whatever it takes to
True.
get better and get
He's right,
stronger.
TC. We
right?
want guys who are willing to push the limits of what's allowed, as NFL players always have.
And Kokrak is very much in line with my win now strategy because that guy's pushing his chips
He's
in.
all in.
That's right.
One of fantastic nominations, KVV. I love the Shipley one. I do think he projects really well as a right tackle.
I
I
got
would
one
also
more for you,
throw,
Neil, before you go.
yeah.
And can I throw it out?
please.
Bo Hostler. Speaking of world-class dumpies, like maybe the biggest ass on tour. Could definitely put a few upper body weight on, but I think Bo could be kind of like a guy who bounces around, playing guard, playing tackle, depending on injuries, like our sixth lineman there.
The only other lineman I'd nominate is Pat Perez, just in that Richie Incognito mode of like probably not a great locker room guy.
Maybe
Maybe
nuts. Yeah.
maybe
I don't think we
bullying
want him
people.
in the locker room, do we?
Nope,
But
he's
he's
on our
kind of one of
spot.
those. He's a bit of a journeyman. Like
Yeah.
we might bring him to training camp, and then I don't know if he's making the 53 man.
I'm
want
not
to start a few fights in training camp to just set the tone.
I'm not willing to fully move on from Ernie Els just yet. I feel like he could be the Trent Williams still. He is a unit. Like
He's a true sportsman.
he can
too.
fight. The man can fight. If we needed to have an aging guy, I'd take him over Robert Carlson any day.
Maybe O-line coach Ernie Els. I'm not quite.
I think he's got
sure
one
at
more year. I think he can get one
52.
more year out of him.
Man, I think Els and Bjorn on the sides, man. Just you let those two guys,
God,
they're gonna
DC.
mold a line.
I just need them working with Shipley, working with Ben On, getting their technique down.
What about
teach them
Stu
how to
Sink, Neil?
fight.
Oh man, I'd probably put Sink. He's more of a DN to me.
He's soft.
Okay.
He can't play for me.
God, that's a lot of depth though. I mean, looking at this
It
depth
is.
chart, we got
Angel Cabrera.
gonna be some tough decisions to make during camp.
100%. Where do you want to go next?
Stick on offense. Let's talk tight ends. I'm looking at a guy like Big Tone,
Yes.
right? I'm not sure if he's going to be enough of an inline blocker. Honestly, I'm looking at a guy like Sahith, right? Sahith's got a frame. He's scrappy. He's versatile.
I think we're moving him out wide.
Yeah,
he's not
okay.
putting a hand in the ground. He's going to go
I
out.
think Luke List.
some balls.
Luke List is the big dude.
Decent.
Good
I like that.
frame. Good core. Davis Thompson, 6'4". I think he might be a little too skinny to play in line though. Country music startup Trace Crow as well. He's a guy like Sammy Valimaki. Brandon Matthews could be. We may want to save him
Yeah.
for D end. He's probably like he's like a number one pick if we're doing this. Like he's like a top 5 pick if we're doing this exercise. Like he's a complete freak.
I've got Keegan and Adam Scott as like a potential like Cole Kmet, safety blankets, big targets. Maybe not stretching the field as much as we want, but guys that have been at it for a long time.
What about
I got
Bryson?
Bryson here, guys. I got Bryson.
Yeah, okay.
We need to make some plays. We need to shake things up. The tight end position has been revolutionized throughout the last 10 years of football. This is your Travis Kelce, your sort of George Kittle, your guy who's just annoying the shit out of the other team, who's got a ridiculous Instagram that he's got going on constantly, who's answering questions, probably saying inappropriate shit during every press session. Bryce is going to be like my number one playmaker on offense, I think.
Gosh, I don't know
I'm
if
all
he's
about that.
I'll take the nomination. I don't know if he's got the ball skills, and I keep looking at him as a safety. I think he
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I don't think he plays downhill. I'm kind of with KVV. I really like him at tight end. I think
kind
he's
of like
much
him as
more
like
of an
a Chris
offensive guy.
Cooley.
He's not getting
tight
tackled by
end,
one dude. He's going to just
like an H
bounce.
back kind of thing.
Well, TC, my H back, it's kind of fullback. It's this Jusic. It's the juice for us. Cam Young, a versatile, like kind of downhill running back. Will block. Will do the dirty work. Plays hard. Will do whatever you need him to do. He'll block. He can go out in the flat. He's got great hands, and then he can get upfield. I mean, kind of a Brock Bowers situation. Can get upfield. Got some speed.
I like that. No,
I got 2 guys for that role, Neil. I got Foxy.
What are we on right
Wait,
now?
what role are we
let's-
on?
Yeah, wait. Let's stay
Like
focused here.
H-back,
Run
full B.
Fullback.
We're on tight end.
We're still on tight end.
kind of.
Well, that's the thing, Solly. It's like an H-back is kind of in the modern NFL is a bit of a tight end. Like Jusic is a tight end technically, but he plays.
I think I like
fullback a bunch.
Keegan for tight end just because he's got the length. He could bulk up if you needed him to. He comes from that lineage of kind of Patriots, Aaron Thal, Gronk. They got Hunter Henry right now. I think he understands the position and all of that. Whereas I got a perfect fullback candidate, Neil. I got Rico Hoey. Rico's like 5'11", 6 foot, 220 pounds, just like Foxy, but you could save those guys for the interior defensive line as well.
Well, no, Rico, he's a situational back, right? If we need a
Yeah.
short yardage, a Mike Tolbert.
My
The Tolbert report.
Go ahead.
my dark horse pick here was Nelly Corda. Just throw in she's not going to block anybody, but like long strides, can kind of outrun linebackers. It's going to be too tall for corners to guard. We might throw her a couple balls a game. Doesn't have to be like a regular playmaker, but going to create some matchup problems.
How big did you say Rico Hoey was, TC?
I thought he was like 220-ish.
I know it's coming.
5'10", 220.
He's 5'10", 205 listed, but
That's
Dude,
still
he's
kind of
so thick,
that's-
man.
That's a unit.
I want to we got to find a spot for Taylor Pendrith, and tight end was making some sense to me.
I had him at
Still-
D end, so we'll,
Okay.
I feel like he's coming off the edge. He's a
Yeah.
big frame. All right, let's go running backs. So we can dabble in. If you have any more fullbacks or short yardage backs, we can go here. But just generally running backs. My lead dog was going to be Jake Knapp.
Yeah, I like that.
Jake Knapp on my list as well. Just
Interesting.
kind of
This-
explosive. He's got pop. He's got fast twitch, right?
Mhm.
Listen, you guys are gonna hate this. I got
Probably.
Tommy.
No,
I think Tommy could be like a Debo Samuel. I think Tommy's got great feet. I think you could bulk him up a little bit. Got
Yeah,
the
I
hair
don't-
flowing out of the back of the helmet.
I don't think he's gonna. We can't give him the ball too much. He's gonna get
I
broken.
can see Tommy being like a split end, maybe
Yeah.
like an inside Welker type receiver, but he ain't right getting the hard yards, DC. This is where I got Kurt Kitayama. Big
Okay.
legs, fast, like he's gonna power through some people. He's gonna never go down first contact. He was a very good like point guard, obviously, in college or in high school. Like 5'8", 5'9", somewhere in there, a good size for a running back. Not too tall. You're gonna have to get low to tackle him. And then my third down back, really wasn't sure if there was a position for him other than this, but Tom Kim, not a guy who's going to catch, going to get 20 carries,
Can he block?
but he can give me, 3 or 4 touches a game.
Can
I was
he
gonna
produce?
say, I
doesn't like
worry
to
about him in
block.
pass pro.
He doesn't. Yeah, his pass pro is no good.
Well, we're just going to throw him flares. It's we're not going to ask him to take on D ends.
Another
I
guy.
was thinking about an Eckler. Give me Brian Harmon, man.
Yeah, Brian, he's going to
Well,
fight. He's going
Varner.
to be a dog for you.
I
had
thought he's
Varner
playing
at a-
guard, TC. No, he's a scat back now.
One guy we do got to find a spot for as an athlete. I don't know if you guys saw the video the Corn Ferry Tour posted of Kyle Westmoreland hitting baseballs.
Yeah.
Dude's an athlete, right? So again, he could fill a lot of spots, can kind of go as where the team needs, but one to flag that one. He could be a receiver, he could be a linebacker, he could be anything. But
He's
also
kind
just
of
wanna
right there
mention-
with Woodland.
Yeah.
Of like Woodland's, I think you could stick him a lot of different places and get something out of him. Another guy that I think we may have forgotten about on the offensive line, or a couple guys really, Hudson Swafford, big dude. I think there's some durability concerns there though. And then you've got Hideki. And I know he's not super tall, but we talked a little bit about Cantlay's
Technician. Maybe you could
frame
do it.
or kind of core, like his world class dumpy. Hideki has one of the best foundations I've ever seen of just like a quad strength,
got some
glutes just
injury
through the
issues,
middle
though.
there.
Just got a lot of injury issues, man. He's just always battling something there. But anyways, noted. We got to find a spot for this guy as well. Denny McCarthy,
Yeah,
sneaky
I got him at
athlete.
receiver.
Okay.
he's
He's
a slot receiver.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
might be the starting slot. I definitely one of the first names that came to mind. Solly, have you seen him shoot a 3-pointer?
Exactly.
A
But as a
complete
running back as
assassin out of the
well,
slot.
like I think he could be. Gotta get the ball in that guy's hands. It sure seems like.
I think QB is it's the easiest one. It's Scotty,
Yeah, it's Scotty.
right? Like
I-
kind of funky athlete, like elusive, not fast,
Yeah.
tall enough to see over in the pocket, and then at QB2, holding the clipboard, keeping everybody up is Jordan Spieth.
Mhm.
Kind of got that Drew Brees, maybe Baker Mayfield vibe going on of like, yeah, you throw him in, he might do some stuff, but then he gets a starting job and you're like, Jesus, man, like, what are you doing on third down? Like, why are you forcing it downfield? I
The
feel like
Browns
Spieth is the
over-
perfect QB2.
No. Yeah,
It's
he's
like
gonna get
Rex
6 starts, and the
Grossman.
Browns are gonna give him $100 million and
Yeah,
regret it immediately.
exactly. Everybody likes him, but then he plays and you're like, come on, man, make better decisions, dude.
Guys, I feel like we gotta kind of address the elephant in the room here, which is, our franchise quarterback for the last 10 years has been Phil Mickelson, and it could be kind of an Aaron Rodgers situation. I think there's a lot of parallels there. He won't
Well,
stop,
I had
mouthing
him
off
moving
at media.
upstairs. I had Phil going to be the head coach. You want somebody who's going to wear sunglasses in a press conference, who's going to sort of smooth it over with talk a bunch of kind of nonsense to each week. I think Phil is absolutely like in a great spot to be a head coach here.
Can we have Phil as like a coach, but like his headset's not plugged into anything? Like he's still out there doing all the stuff, but nobody's on the other end and react like a toddler with a Nintendo controller of some kind.
Guys, I'm struggling a little bit with Phil as head coach when you look at the High Flyers.
That's a great point.
You know what?
And
That's a
there's
good
not
point.
a lot of development going on there outside of Andy Ogletree's had a decent year.
Like could be like a Tom Landry situation where he's not really coaching anymore. He's just kind of the figurehead. He's really there to like woo investors.
I think he's off QB or offensive coordinator, QB coach. Like he's got a
Guys,
he's got a fantastic football mind. He's got an imagination. He can dial up a play when you need it.
We can't trust this guy. If we start 1-4, he's off to the XFL, right? We cannot trust this guy with our program. He's proven that.
We're not sure we can get him cleared with the league office too, considering past allegations of improprieties.
Exactly.
So
Plus, we might have like David Tepper as the owner here that he's going to make a
I got an
change
owner
every year.
So okay, I think we're in agreement on Scotty. Like leadership,
Yeah.
like footwork is a little funky, but he gets it done. Like I
Yeah.
think you want your quarterbacks to seem just kind of chill at all times, like never too like wound up, worked up. But I got a good backup quarterback. I'm going with Keith Mitchell as our backup quarterback. You need someone with irrational confidence, someone who's probably not quite good enough to be the starter, but is like sharp dresser, sharp, looking guy. Just everyone thinks, oh, he could be the starter, but when he gets in, but you really want to have him as a solid backup. He can give you, 2 or 3
He's
games.
he's like clipboard Jesus. He's like Charlie Whitehurst.
He's great in meetings.
Yes.
Wearing, using the clipboard. He doesn't even want to go into the game, but he's going to be great, in the film room and all of that. I think another guy, listen, if you guys will allow me to bring in a developmental prospect here, I think
Okay.
he's got the frame, he's got the intangibles. Ludwig. I think Ludwig could be kind of like a Herbert
Maybe.
type,
Big problem here, TC. Europeans can't throw.
Yeah, I got
They're
Ludwig
not
on
good
the
at the
outside.
throwing sports. They're not good at the throwing sports. They're just.
I think TC, there's another spot for him for Ludwig, but if you want to go developmental, Gordon Sargent is your
Good one.
is your Herbert guy. Can fling it, but doesn't
Yeah.
quite have the nuances of the game just yet.
Need to get him in the
He's like
film
an
room.
SEC quarterback who threw for like 6,000 yards, but nobody knows if he's actually good.
There's a nomination I'd make
Steven
here.
Garcia.
Going back to some reps they had at Royal Greens Golf Club over there in Saudi Arabia when they dressed up in those Chiefs uniforms. Dustin
Yeah.
Johnson can throw a football. I don't know if you saw the video that Liv posted this week as well. Literally throwing a football. He can fling it a little bit. I know it's kind of I don't know if that's kind of like the operator of the offense that we're necessarily looking for, but
He might have walked away like Andrew Luck though. Just be like, yeah, I'm good. Like I don't need this.
I was
game
I was
anymore.
looking for an analogy like that. KVV. I'm like, yeah, I just don't think he's into it anymore.
All right, wide receivers.
Yeah, I got a couple good ones I'd like to nominate. My featured downfield bomb threat is Akshay. Like I just feel like rangy, can get off press coverage. He's got his hand.
No,
up
I don't think
constantly.
Akshay can get off press coverage. I think you're jamming him at the line all day long. And
I think he's
gonna
quick
just-
though. He's got that lanky frame. We
He
can
can
work
only
with
line
that.
up in the slot.
I feel like he's explosive, and I would say he's a downfield threat.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
In
Okay,
that same
cool.
vein, Neil, I have Minwoo Lee. I think Minwoo Lee is like a Michael Irvin type. Like you think you can guard him, but he just keeps putting his body on the line, keeps like reeling in big catches. He's a shit talker. He's dancing a little bit after every catch. Like that's my guy that I want to.
Yeah,
throw the ball
Minwoo
to in
seems
big
like
moments.
a bit like a Keenan Allen. It's like, God, the guy gets 11 catches a game. How does he keep getting open? I love that pick.
Okay. I also had Sahith here and wideout. I feel like 6'3", good athlete. Doesn't have the crazy that most like good wide receivers have. So it's going to be like a solid number 2.
Calvin Johnson type.
Yeah.
I would say maybe not that
Like
much
that.
upside. TC's boy Michael Jenkins, the Ohio State guy that played for the Falcons, kind of a possession receiver.
I could see Sahith taking pride in his blocking too.
Yeah.
which I think we want. Like we've got kind of a really diverse run set here. I got a couple guys that I think are just. I like Nick Dunlap. Is this
Okay.
like you're
6'3",
up
I think.
close with him? He's
Yeah.
6'2", 6'3", good frame. I think you can kind of mold him into something. Going back to Christo Lamprecht, Neil, you get him as just a total kind of mismatched dude, red zone receiver. There, you kind of work with him on route running and everything. I think Ludwig could be a fit for receiver as well. I think he's I think he's going to do the right stuff route running wise.
Can I get a Big Tone nomination in here, guys?
Yeah, big tone.
I
I
got
had
Big
Tone as
Tone
my backup tight end. I think
on
that's a good,
defense.
you know.
I don't know.
Uh,
Tone might be my number one receiver in there,
I feel like Tone's got hops.
right?
Right?
Yeah. Good athlete overall. I could see Tone's got to be on the offensive side of the ball. I think he's
Yeah.
a playmaker.
He's not hitting you.
I don't know. I thought he was going to kind of be just a sack monster off the edge. Like,
Yeah, I guess I kind of like see that, Neil, like a laconic sort of guy who just,
I just
he
don't think
just
he's got
is
enough
constantly
brand.
working and getting sacks, but doesn't really like
yeah,
seem
like
like he's all
He's
that
like
mean or
he's like
he's,
Leonard Floyd.
he's
Mhm.
just, yeah, he's just kind of coming off the edge just constantly. Like, those guys make so much money. That's like a marquee player in the NFL right now.
yeah.
How do you feel
I
about
had
the pro
this is
anywhere?
where I had Harold Varner as like my slot, like my inside guy.
See,
Someone's
that's the
gonna
thing. Varner doesn't strike me as athletic or fast. Like, I'm just like, Varner's not on my team.
Yeah.
Straight up.
wow.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
I feel like he's kind of athletic. Am I just projecting here? I mean,
He's like a
he's
bowling ball. He's so thick.
that's why I had him like as a
Yeah.
like he's not
Yeah.
an offensive guard, but he's gonna catch like a few inside balls and like be hard to tackle.
A couple other nominations I'd like to make at receiver. Will Zalatoris, feel like he could be pretty shifty in the slot. We're going to need to work on the back. That's tough. Maybe too many concussions. He's like Hunter Renfro. It's like, I don't know how much mileage we're going to get from that, but he was a great college player, just kind of lit it up in the ACC. I think Norin could be kind of shifty.
Dude, I had
as well.
Norin
Yeah.
at running back even. Norin's got a nice frame and base.
That's what I'm saying. He seems like a kind of a versatile athlete. So I would like
I had
we got to might find a spot for him on the roster somewhere.
I had Norin as our wedge buster, even though the kickoff rules have changed. But Norin, he's like a masochist who's gonna do whatever. He's gonna give himself up for the team.
That's good stuff. All right.
How do we feel about the pro? Does the pro slot anywhere? Does Cam Smith, if we can get him in shape, slot in anywhere? I feel like he's got some explosiveness.
Can I
We've
get
got
a DJ nomination in here
Hatton.
for receiver too? I mean, one of the best
Yeah.
athletes. Guy can dunk a basketball. Here, what?
I know, but we're trying to flip the roster over. That was
I
my
feel like
my
if we
goal with
lined
this.
up with Big Tone on one side, DJ on the other side, had Sahith mixing in there in different sets, and then had
Denny.
somebody shifty in the slot, that'd be pretty tough to defend.
Right?
Feels like a
on like a
late
real
career
football
Randy
team.
Moss situation, Solly. Like he's not running hard on routes where it's not to him. He's kind of
It's
just
the
like, yeah,
threat. It's
whatever.
the threat. Like that's he
Yeah, but
opens up
No,
the
I
field for
think
the rest
I'm with you, KVV. It's a bit like Julio Jones. It's
Yeah.
kind of bouncing around now, like getting one year
the
contract.
shadow of who
like,
you were.
but like everyone's like, oh God, that is that is Julio though. Like maybe
Gotta cover him
maybe
still.
yeah.
Couple other
Listen,
nominations. Adrian Moronk,
yeah.
long. I don't know
He's
if he knows how to
at
play
wideout?
football.
Feels more like a DN
Wide
to
out.
me.
Yeah.
He's so skinny though. And then Johnny Vegas somewhere. I think Johnny Vegas is like low key a unit.
At receiver?
No, just somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were taking receiver nominations here. Let's get
All right, we'll flip to defense. Defensive line.
Before we do that, I just want to give a quick shout out here, if you'll allow me, to our friends, of course, at Omni Resorts, the official hotel and resort of the PGA Tour, and no laying up. I don't know about you, but nothing feels better than that first tee ball on a crisp morning that says fall golf is here. While the season is winding down, we're about to watch the ladies of Team USA take on Europe in the Solheim Cup. The President's Cup is around the corner, but there's still plenty of golf to be played. Omni Golf has quite the collection of fall golf destinations. Whether you're looking for a low-key fall family getaway or couples weekend, Omni caters to golfers of all skill levels with a ton of fun, approachable courses, and luxurious accommodations, and bar none, golf's best après scene. Some of our favorites from Omni's stable of 28 must-play courses are the historic Omni Homestead in Hot Springs, Virginia, with 2 award-winning courses and the oldest first tee in America. The Omni Grove Park Inn in Nashville, I was just there in June. It's fantastic. Not only has a championship golf course, but a 43,000 square foot subterranean spa. Wish I had checked that out. I didn't know about that.
We should have our training camp there.
That's a great idea.
That's where we should have our team go, and we'll do all of our two-a-days and all that stuff. And we'll have hard knocks.
There's still time to register for Omni's inaugural Generation Cup, the first of its kind nationwide tournament for family members to team up together and compete with a chance to play in next spring's national championship at Omni PGA Frisco Resort. Find your nearest Omni course and register today. OmniHotels.com/Generation Cup with no shortage of offerings. What are you waiting for? Get to OmniHotels.com/golf and play the possibilities. All right, let's flip over to the defensive side. Who's got what?
Want to start build it from the inside out again?
Let's go. Yeah, we're taking nominations and we're figuring out how we're going to slot them.
And I feel like this will, our defensive line then will kind of dictate what we do from a scheme perspective, 3-4 versus 4-3.
I mean, it's some of the same names. Like
I think it's Sepp. I think we're starting with Sepp. I think Sepp is like
TC, I want to be very clear. Based on our personnel, I think we are running a base 4-3. Right, we don't really have.
Oh wow, I had a 3-4 going on, but
see, I don't think we have that, dude. We don't have a Will Fork. We don't have a Chris Jones that can anchor the center. I think you need 2 interior D linemen.
See, I think this is where I had Shane Lowry at nose. I feel like Shane Lowry is mean. Shane Lowry is tough. He's intimidating. He's going to just lock heads over and over and push the pocket back, and that's going to allow John Rahm on one end, at the other, Claps and then I'm got a platoon on the other side. I got Harry Higgs and Eugenio Chikara. Now, neither of them are going to have enough kind of motor to play the whole game, but as a 2-for-1, I feel pretty good about them coming off the other. And Rahm is going to just be a vicious off the left side.
I have no issue with Lowry. I feel like he is a D lineman through and through. I feel like he could play O-line, but it feels like he's got more upside on the defensive side of the ball.
I just don't think he's girthy enough to completely own that spot and have us have, I do think we have good 3-4 outside linebackers if we did want to go that route. But I feel like Lowry and Sepp
after when we get to the outside linebackers, I'll make my case.
But I think Lowry and Sepp in the middle would be really, really strong on a 4-3 even of that. And then I've got Patrick Fishburne would be a great fit for D end. I think a Patton Kazire, he's a big ass dude. I think Sam Burns, low key, would be a good kind of mean, got some get off.
Sam Burns is
kind of country strong.
He's more of an athlete for me. I'm moving him. He's on the field, but at a different position.
Okay.
I think Stenson still. I think he's still in shape. I think he could still rush the passer as well.
I think he's getting pushed off the ball.
I agree with that, KBV.
Desire is there anymore? He's not. Once back in the day, sure, but
he needs this football money though. He's broke. He had to take it.
I think
Taylor, to go broke again.
I think Taylor Pendrith is got a motor off the edge, rangy, just coming around. Tackles having nightmares about. He's got great hands, big frame, just tough to handle as a D end. And I have Cam Davis. Now, KBV, this is where I think he would be a great stand-up, like in that 3-4, a great, he's just blitzing from the linebacker position all day, different schemes, different stunts. He's coming
specialist.
Yeah, but I think Cam Davis would be a lot to handle when it's pin your ears back and it's a third down and passing situation.
I like it. Okay. Well, so if we the case for the 3-4 for me is I feel like we could put Cam Young on an edge and he would be a tough, he could really drop into coverage. He could come after the passer. This is an all around, very good athlete, not a me guy, a we guy, ready to just sort of absolutely light dudes up on blitzes or on, and on the other side, if we're going to play 3-4, I got Victor Hovland. I feel like a technician, someone who absolutely is going to set the edge every play. No one's going to get to the outside on Victor. He's going to study tape, more tape than anybody, probably to his own detriment. I feel like we're a good spot with those two guys on the outside.
Victor's just not beefy enough. I'm just not
I had Victor at safety. Yeah. But I kind of like that though. KVV. Now you're kind of flipping my mindset on this 3-4 versus 4-3. I feel like
Oh yeah.
we might have the versatility at linebacker to make this work. I'm still worried about, our beef up front.
I got a few guys. I think Sami Valimaki, getting him in that rotation up front. I think you get Jesper Svensson, could be 6'3". You get him at the end a little bit. I think we're overflowing with these outside linebacker types, regardless of whether we go 4-3 or 3-4. I think you got Brooks. I think you got Chris Gotterup is an absolute fucking unit. He's like 6 foot, 220, 230, kind of like a Logan Wilson type. You can move him inside or outside. We could go back to Andrew Loop. You got a Jamie Lovemark, big dude, big frame, kind of a Hendricks kind of situation there. I think
Jamie
Dunlap could play
Lovemark.
on this side of the ball as well. You could beef
Yeah, I
him
had
up a little
Dunlap
bit.
at strong side backer,
Yeah.
and I had Cam Champ.
I'm a little bit worried about the Cam Young's size. I think you guys are overrating how big he is.
No, but at linebacker, TC, like Bart Scott's like 5'10". Like linebackers don't have to be big. Like I think
True.
Cam Young, if he's not playing that H-back versatile position on offense, I love him at will linebacker. Weak side, just kind of doing stuff. Like you said, KVV, he's dropping to the flat, he's carrying the seam, but then he's just coming full speed up the middle on a blitz on third down. The
He's got
guy's just
also,
a
I think, like
tackling
a
machine. He's just
killer
he's
rip
like,
move, that swim under move, that like getting around the edge and just blasting a
you
quarterback.
remember that guy that he played at Wisconsin and then he balled out for like 2 years and then he just quit? Was that
Jim
Borland?
Leonard?
No,
Yeah.
Oh.
like the
Borland.
Niners.
Yeah. Chris
Yeah.
Borland. Yeah.
Oh my God, that guy was a freak, and he was like 5'9", and he was just
Yeah.
a tackling machine. And then he's like, "Nah, I don't want to get any more concussions. I'm out."
I'm gonna throw a curveball here, but he's kind of short, kind of stout, and I think you would play with fire and a mean streak.
Varner?
Kirill Hatton.
I got him somewhere else.
Yeah, I
but
got him at safety too.
Who's your Mike backer? Because I got
All right,
one.
I got
yeah.
two. It's either Brooks or it's Scott Stallings. And Stallings strikes me as like some of those like Vander Esch and some of the like Dallas linebackers that like can't stay on the field because they keep just like thumping themselves so hard that they knock themselves silly. Yeah, there's another white linebacker for Dallas like over the years. What
I
was it?
played with a guy, Neil, in college who used to hide his concussions from the
Yes.
training staff
And
because he'd
that's
had so
me,
many, and he was like the
Stallings.
biggest thumper around.
The guy just loves the weight room. He's just ready to go at all times. But the training staff's keeping him out of too many games. So he's pissed. So I got Stallings in there.
I like that. Those are good picks. I have at the Mike backer, I have, maybe this is so close to my heart because this position I played. I have the cat. Big upper body.
He's got
right?
one leg.
Listen, 10 years ago he was a safety. Now he can't run anymore, but he's still like the guy who
still
knows
processes and
everything that's happening,
recognizes.
processes faster and better than anybody. I don't want him on the field on third downs. All right. So it's more of a 2-down player, but he's going to get me lined up and set. Everyone respects him. This is like kind of a Sam Mills situation late in his career. He is still my guy. He can still take on a dive. He can still make a few plays. Like it's kind of when Ray Lewis was like that year the Ravens won the Super Bowl and everyone's like, "Oh, Ray Lewis," but like wasn't really Ray Lewis. It was like a older version of Ray Lewis. But every once in a while, he would do something that would make you feel, that big fist pump like Ray. Kind of some version of that.
Deer
I think
antler
he's still got
spray,
a big enough upper body.
or it's like Thomas Davis for the Panthers when he's like playing with
Yes.
like a bionic arm and the other one's
Yes.
broken. It's like, yeah, whatever, man. I'm still gonna stop the run.
I'm just gonna remind you of a quote. He said, "I can hit all the shots. I just can't walk."
That's why I don't need him run sideline to sideline, Solly. I got two of the best young outside backers in the game to run
Playing
things
in the
down.
box.
I just need
You're
him
not
in the
leaving the
box,
box.
like taking guys on.
I just can't walk.
He's just up at the line. He's making checks. Scotty's making checks. It's in the one-on-one scrimmages in the summer. It's just like it's a total chess match.
Oh, love this.
It's good stuff.
What about Big Shot Bob at linebacker too?
Not fast enough.
Not fast.
That guy's gonna get
He's
smoked.
not fast enough. You guys are talking about the cat.
The cat.
No,
You
cat's
tell me
different.
that Bob has the same instincts.
Yeah,
as
the cat is processing. He's like Kuechly. He's a step ahead of everybody. He's literally calling the
seeing
play.
things unfold before the quarterback.
Yeah, he's saying they're running right. They're running right.
He's out there calling the plays like Ed Reed used to do before the offense even knows what they're checking
I'm in
into.
KVV. I love it. Cat and Mike. You got and Brooks. I feel like Brooks has all the traits. It's like, is he? but is he the captain? I don't know. He's kind of disinterested, but he's got, man, I mean, he feels like on paper, a good Mike backer. So
When I hear your description for what you want the cat to be, KVV, I think he's Connor Stallions. I don't think he's on the football field.
Okay, that's possible, but I still think we got one last ride in the cat. He's gonna lock horns with somebody.
one other weak side linebacker, Tom Hoagie, another guy that he kind of blue collar, great tackler, just kind of finds a way to make a play.
Plugger.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, ends up in like, oh yeah, I made the tour championship. Just kind of like, God, that guy gets like 12 tackles a game. They're not like pretty, but he's just effective on the field. Like coaches love a linebacker like that that just like covers up mistakes and is always just flowing to the ball. I feel like that's Hoagie.
The Eagles sign him for like a 3-year, $12 million deal, and he just like contributes. Like,
Yeah, he's just like,
Kiko
yeah,
Alonso.
he'll play special teams, like throw him on the wing on punt. He'll go down and make a tackle. It doesn't fucking matter.
Who do we got at strong safety?
So my safeties I had 3 names. I had Victor, Xander, and Sam Burns. I feel like Xander is like perfect safety, kind of like tough guy attitude, wants to play downhill, like not the biggest dude on the field, but great in coverage over the top. Kind of like how he's a great putter. It's like safeties don't get a lot of credit, but like guys that don't get beat deep are really, really valuable. And I feel like nobody's getting behind Xander.
That's kind of where
I
I'm
had
at.
Xander at free. I think that's a great pick, Neil. I think he is absolutely, and I think Stefan would have raised him to be a thumper.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
He would have fucking cracked skulls coming down.
Yes.
The little collision low crossers, like that's Xander. And then at strong, I had Ludwig. Feel like he's playing like a Kyle Hamilton type role, like one of the best athletes on the field. He's going to be able to guard your tight end. He's going to be able to run with your receiver. He's going to absolutely be technically in the right spot every time. Shout out to the Marist School.
I think Ludwig could even rush the passer a little bit. Like you could drop him.
Oh, spear
down
blitz.
on, like,
Come
a
on,
passing
TC. I
down.
love that.
Because I don't think we need to go to, too deep, kind of too deep safety, a cover 2 kind of scheme here. I think we can have these guys play a little bit more because I have confidence in these guys to drop into coverage when they need to. But I also have confidence in our corners as well. I love Xander in that role. I love Vic as well. I think Vic is processing. He's got range. He's got upside. He's got burst. Maybe Ludwig turns into one of our outside backers, right?
Maybe a couple years later, like an
Joker
Urlacher
role.
situation,
Yeah.
move him down.
I mean, I love the interchangeability with Hovland and Ludwig. I mean, I feel like Xander's a 3-4 down player, but those two like they could play. It's like a hybrid. You could put them at linebacker. You can play them at safety. I love that. The other guy I had at nickel. I had Minwoo Lee at nickel. I felt like he was, you got to have an attitude to play nickel because you're going to be playing.
Can you trust him though?
No, probably not.
His hip turn wouldn't be quite as.
I like him on offense more. I think.
Yeah,
I'm with that. So the other guy I had there was country music sensation Eric Cole. He's going to follow around the slot. Like he's got one job. He's playing exclusively man coverage on the inside. And, he's just kind of following dudes around the field.
Do we have our corners first? Like
we don't yet.
Okay.
No,
we don't.
TC, you want to start us off at corner?
Billy Ho is what was mentioned.
Yeah, Billy Ho, I think is a no-brainer.
So I had Rory at corner.
Put him out on an island, and then I got Rory on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah. Rory's a good corner, I think. If you saw those Peloton numbers, like the dude can run for a long way. A little worried about the sprained ankle situation, previous attempts at football, but I feel like he has a short memory because he changes his mind a lot. So like if he gets beat, he's not going to remember it.
Sure.
We're good there.
I'll throw out a nomination of like the attitude you need trash talking wise of a corner. JT. Like JT, the instigator, just getting in opponents' heads. Like I think all the measuring of the ball of the short putts not given. I think he has the attitude of a corner.
I could see that. I worry about JT's dad maybe undermining the staff a little bit.
Alley-oop there for TC.
Throw me JT. He's a nickel op. I think he's on the depth chart, but he might be a situational guy. The other two I'd throw in at corner are Taylor Moore and Hatton.
I had Hatton at corner too.
Right.
I just think of a nuisance.
Yes. Maybe dime packages. You got to have a bunch of D-backs ready to go, especially with Rory's potential, ankle situation.
Hatton's
I don't know if those two are starters.
I can't have Hatton's attitude on my defense. He's maybe
well,
special
corners
teams.
Corners are often crazy.
That's kind of what corners are for. You put
by nature.
Yeah, he's going to blame. He's definitely the guy getting up,
But
pass interference. The flags were from 5 seconds ago, and he's celebrating like he
but
broke
he's
the pass
blaming
up.
his safeties. Like he's blaming everybody but himself when the coverage breaks down. Like
That's why we need Xander back there, because Xander's just he's gonna be diplomatic with the press. He's gonna be like, obviously we had some communications issues. We'll look at tape. We'll see, where to go from here. He's not gonna throw it back on Terrell.
Yeah. What do you guys think about does the blow pig, the gusty swine, does he fit in anywhere here?
I couldn't find a spot for the blow pig, nor could I.
I worry about speed with him. I don't know if he's fast enough.
I
don't know
thought
if
maybe
he's
a possession
nimble
receiver
enough.
is where I'd put him, but yeah, I don't think he's based on his ball speed and postureness according to TC. I don't know if he can play defense. I don't know if he has pop.
I think he's got a strong lower base. I think he the speed comes from somewhere. So I would almost put him in the linebacker mold more than anything on the offensive side.
I think there's another guy. I think Vincent Norman. We could look at him as a corner as well. He's like 6'1", kind of rangy. I don't know if we have enough length at corner right now. There's those 6'1", 6'2" kind of corners are definitely in vogue right now.
That's where I had Cam Smith. Like if we could get him healthy,
Okay.
I feel like he's got a little
Cam
bit of
Smith
height.
would be a great nickel too.
I don't know if he can chase guys around. I feel like he might be able to play the X receiver, like a 6'3", 6'4" receiver. You need a bigger corner for.
We haven't mentioned Joaquin
Cam's
Neiman.
not big.
Yeah, I had
small.
Joaquin as a receiver at some point, and then swapped him out. I mean, he does have the kind of like whininess of a receiver, even though he's obviously very good, with just the constantly passive aggressive comments about, well, I'm obviously not getting the ball enough. So
I feel like he's a Valdez Scantling type of or a Ted Ginn, where you're like, oh, that guy's so fast, he just doesn't really produce.
I think Joaquin was he was a early round pick, back in 2014 for us, and he's just kind of
frame never filled out.
He just hasn't stuck. He just hasn't learned the playbook, and then been hanging out with Taylor Gooch. And
I don't think he was in our 2014 because he was like 14 years old back then. But.
Like TC was deep scouting, those.
Yeah. I was gonna say TC's been he's going to the D2, D3. He's watching lots of tape on South Dakota State, pulling out Vincent Norman stuff. Like it's good.
All right, who's your kicker, guys?
Well, just real quick, I'm throwing a nomination for McCarthy in there in case he doesn't make the team as a receiver.
Okay.
Kicker's Russ Henley or Peter Malnati for me. Russ Henley just being like veteran, like Vinatieri, you just count on the guy. Like never really in threat of losing his job, doesn't miss easy kicks, has a few game winners, doesn't move the needle. Then Malnati's like the goofy kicker that like gets put up on everyone's shoulders. He makes the game winner, but he has a tough time with he'll miss like a 27-yarder every once in a while. You're like, what the fuck, man? So he's bounced around a little bit.
Guys, I got our kicker. I'm sorry to butt in here, but it's Matt Fitzpatrick. It's got to be from a football country, a soccer country, accurate, dedicated to the team, knows his role.
That's
I think
a good one.
I think,
Technical.
Yes, I think Fitz is our kicker.
I actually had Fitzy as a gunner because he's a guy who's just he's gonna do whatever it takes. He's gonna get me a tackle. He's not gonna bitch about it. He's gonna run down and blow somebody up.
Just real quick, I got to give a shout out to my buddy Toomer, who once in college threatened or tempted that he was going to try to walk on the Miami University football team as a gunner. Like that was a real position.
One position I'm going out for.
I'm gonna walk on as gunner.
Coach, here, I just want to be gunner. TC, I got Blandy as my kicker.
Hell yeah.
I feel like clutch, like delivers in important sort of moments. He's a wily veteran, kind of maybe came into his own, developed a different style of kicking late in life. I just feel like if you got to find a spot for Blandy to get him on the team, like kicker is a good spot.
I think Blandy would be a great punter.
Well, I was gonna say I think I have the punter. It's got to be Aaron Rye. He's wearing the gloves out there. He's going through his process on the sideline.
He's a soccer fan.
Yeah, he might bring in like the rugby kick. He's like he's not scared to do it a little differently. It doesn't always look great. It's end over end sometimes, but he kind of gets the job done.
It's the most accurate driver on tour as well. That's it could be a kicker as well.
Yeah.
And then I had at returners, I have Harmon and TC. I had Fleetwood here.
Harmon, like what is your fascination with? He is so little. He's not going to be fast at all.
He's old.
Yeah, but he's not scared. He's not scared to catch a punt. Harmon refuses to.
He could catch punts. I totally believe that, Neil.
He refuses to fair catch. He's fearless, and then he finds a hole and he gets upfield. Nothing worse. Offensive coordinators and head coaches, their biggest pet peeve is when guys let that ball drop and call poison. You lose 15 yards to start the offense on a change of possession. Harmon's catching everything, man.
And we got the new kick return rules too. You know, where
Yeah.
you're incentivized to do that.
I
I
had
think I got Ricky,
Ricky.
up there.
I got Ricky at a kick returner. I feel like he was a wideout, third down receiver back in the day. Now I feel like he's maybe transitioned to just be returning kicks, but good veteran leadership. You don't want him in like every big spot, but he'll get the job done.
The golf world seems to have forgotten about this guy, but I'll throw a nomination in for Matt Wolf. I feel like he's got the attitude of a returner.
I don't know. I feel like Matt Wolf's going to muff a few punts.
Maybe he's kick returner
You
then.
can't. I don't know if you can trust him.
Yeah.
I feel like Matt Wolf was like a quarterback who like just completely like washed out in the NFL. Like started out like he was a great like player, like
Ryan
Washington
Leaf.
State, Oregon, Cal,
Knock
something
it
like
off!
that, and then just completely melted down. Now is
Jeff
hanging
George.
on
Wolf
somewhere
might be
in there.
Justin Fields.
He might be, or Carson Wentz, something like that.
I think
One
we
other
gotta
I
go-
had was JT was my holder. I feel like JT's not quite like menacing enough to play an actual football position, but I honestly believe he absolutely could catch this long snap. Like if Spieth was my punter and and my kicker and JT was my holder, I'd feel pretty good about that.
I can see Max being there too.
We don't
Max
have a
would be a good
spot for
holder.
Max.
And I feel like we want We want guys like Cam and Max in the locker room, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you want them on the team. You got to have.
Well,
those
as
glue
Zach said, you
guys.
don't leave JT at home, so we got to find a spot for him.
ZJ didn't get a nomination either.
I think another good coach would be Trevor Immelman. Talked enough
Yeah.
with Trevor. I think Trevor knows teams. He knows systems. He knows, how to maximize talent.
Well, we go to Cleveland, so there's going to be tough conditions there in the middle of the winter.
Let's say, yeah. Remember the Titans. What you did with those boys, with what he did with the International Presidents Cup team in 2020. You were the right man for the job, coach.
If we don't come together right here.
Neil,
Lou is
we have not
tired.
found a spot for Ches.
Yeah, well,
Ches
Ches
being
is on
left
the
off.
No, he's on the
He's on
practice squad.
He's on the pup.
He's on the practice squad. He's just like he's not gonna make the 53 man, but he's gonna give you a look. Every week he's gonna give you a look.
Got CTE.
Guys, before we get into historical ones, if you want to throw out, I just had a couple things. I had my offensive coordinator was Johnson Wagner. Just feels like a guy like wearing a headset, like he's gonna diagram things up, he's gonna get a job done. It's probably like a career backup quarterback who just like blossomed into his own to a play caller. He's gonna get his own shot at running a team someday, but right now he is just like he's like Ben Johnson. He's like the most coveted offensive coordinator. My defensive coordinator is Gary Player. Bit of a Monty Kiffin situation, all black pants. He's given these like speeches. You absolutely have to go up there and show him who the man is.
We're gonna blitz all night.
Yeah. And then my owner.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
I thought Solly was our owner.
No, I feel like historically, our owner should have been Arnold Palmer. Like, a gal on each arm, charming the press. Maybe he's involved in decisions. Maybe not. Maybe he's just printing money. He's just finding ways to absolutely grow the pie for everyone. He's like the godfather of this league.
I can promise who our owner is not, and it's not Jack Nicklaus.
It's not. Jack's team has been in receivership 2 or 3 times.
Jack's actually the Phoenix Coyotes owner that just sold to Ryan Smith. He got
KVV. I love Johnson Wagner. I almost have him more as the special teams coach.
Yeah,
I like that too.
High energy. Like when the fake punt works, he's like,
Yeah.
not afraid to try new stuff.
Yeah.
when they down a ball inside the 5, that dude is going to meet you there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't know. We had Phil maybe as offensive coordinator. Who's the head coach? You think Immelman? TC thinks Immelman.
I'll throw one out. Hale Irwin was like a fucking great football player in college. He was like an all Big 8 back when at Colorado. So Hale Irwin could definitely be like your old school, like Pete Carroll type coach.
Game's changed a lot though since then.
It has, but I still feel like there's a spot for him. There's one of the few people out there with actual football experience.
Should we get towards
Who's
finalizing some of these?
our salary cap guru?
Ooh,
Cantlay?
Can't wait. Spieth, I could
That's a
see
good
being
one.
really good at that. All the simulations he's been running with the
And he
models.
tracks all the bets when
Yep.
they that's that kind of thing too.
yes, I think it's time to make some decisions
Okay.
here.
What kind of order do we want to go in here?
I think we go
We start with at the top with QB.
Okay.
Mhm.
That one seemed easy. That was going to be Scotty Scheffler.
It's Scotty,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Scott,
I mean, backup is really the question. If you want to move Jordan, upstairs, into the GM role, I'm cool with that. And we move Keith Mitchell into backup quarterback.
I almost feel like with Jordan, you're trying to kind of get him. He was like what Cowboys the last few years, and now he's the Eagles offensive coordinator.
Kellen Moore?
Kellen Moore. Like he was like Kellen Moore was 3 or 4 years ago of like kind of that,
You could talk
hot
me
name.
into Jordan as a young offensive coordinator.
it's just a lot of
Yeah.
Cowboys stuff going on with Jordan, though. I don't know if that's like
Mhm.
the motif we're really going for here. Just
True.
with Dak and all that. I mean,
Well, I'm cool. Let's move Jordan out of QB2 and let's move Keith Mitchell in. I
Only-
like that. I like that play.
only thing I know about football comes from the Ball Knowers podcast. So that's where that's coming from.
Who's our third string quarterback?
You're the
I
perfect
think-
GM for the
we'll-
Ball Knowers
I think
podcast.
We'll get
Sergeant
there.
TC. I
We'll
think
get
we
there.
have a
Okay.
young guy on the roster.
We got to
Yeah.
fill out the we got to fill out the roster before we get to
Okay.
third string quarterback. Who's our running back? Nominees were Jake Knapp, Tommy Fleetwood, Kurt Kitayama, Tom Kim, Brian
I'll
Herman,
rescind the Tommy
and
Fleetwood
Alex Noren.
nomination.
I don't love our nominations for running back. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a hard position to fill.
I think
like-
Woodland. I think Woodland's still got it. He's kind of a Derrick Henry. Like he's still got some tread on the tires. He's been doing it for a while.
We
You
need
gotta
a
have
speaking
Nap-
one.
He was our workhorse 10 years
Knapp
ago.
feels
so I
like
don't know if-
an every down
Knapp
back
is-
though.
Okay.
I
I
think
feel like
Knapp's
he
the
is
guy.
clearly the starter for me. Of like he can catch.
Okay.
He's like a Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
situation.
He's got the most upside as far as versatility goes. And he's young. He doesn't have a lot of mileage on him. If you want to throw Gary
Explosive,
Woodland in
too.
as a veteran
Who's this?
short down back,
You're
that's
saying
fine.
Knapp?
Jake
Yeah.
Knapp, yeah.
Knapp's 31. I'm just gonna throw that out too.
But he doesn't have a lot of mileage on his legs.
Not a lot of mileage
True.
though.
Fullback. How do we want to do fullback? Or is this like second tight end here? What are we calling this? H
Well,
back.
like H back.
Yeah.
I
like
kinda,
Alex Noren here for fullback.
Yeah.
I'm going Foxy. I got it. I mean,
Fox is
he's
pretty good pick.
he's so thick. He's got the right mindset. He's gonna take pride in his blocking.
Is he too tall to play fullback?
He's only like 6 foot.
Listen,
5'11",
I'm
6'4".
happy to move Cam Young to he's got to start on defense for me though. If he's not
Yeah,
going to play the Jusic role, then we need to get that guy in the field somewhere.
For sure.
We have a pretty old backfield. If we're going Knapp and Fox back there, I'm just pointing that out. But we'll pencil that in. If we need to revisit it.
Tom
we can.
Kim is our like scat back then. Tom Kim's
I just
Like
don't feel like
the
Tom Kim
third
moves
down guy.
that well.
Yeah, I'm out on. He's very Varner-ish as far as proportion.
I'm actually saying I think Noren might be a better.
Noren's old though.
Yeah, true.
he's old.
Let's put a pin in. We'll
TC's
put a pin in.
He's got 50-year-old linemen, but he's calling out our 38-year-old backs.
I think Kitayama could be a modern 3-down back.
Yeah,
Kitayama's
I think-
probably the best younger option.
got some explosiveness there. It doesn't have a lot of tread on the
I
tires.
don't see the
either.
explosiveness in Kitayama.
Dude, have you seen his legs? He's
Seriously?
fucking enormous. He's like
He's a power
5'8" and he can
plant,
dunk a
Tyler.
basketball.
Kitayama can
Yeah.
dunk a basketball?
Yes.
Pretty sure,
he's a
yeah.
freak
All
athlete.
right. Well, I
Yeah.
stand corrected.
All right, throw. You know what? Throw Kitayama then in over Fox. Fox is a backup. TC, I'm not having that.
I think Kitayama should be our starting running back, and I think Knapp should be our change of pace guy. And then I think we don't need a fullback, right? Let's just have a varied running back room.
Well, leave this as it is,
Okay.
Solly. This is fine for now.
I was saying, Kurt's only 31 years old, so it's not like he's ancient.
Right in the prime of
Knapp
his
is obviously
career.
that old too. So
Yeah.
Who's our
Pretty
number
good,
one
too.
receiver? Who's our downfield threat? Who's
I mean, I kind of Minwoo Lee was out there. I mean, I Sahith and
more I
Minwoo were
think
my
about it,
nominations.
I think Dunlap is
Yeah.
and Sahith are both like those are kind of our big dudes on the outside.
Yeah, I want a stable of dudes. I think it's Dunlap, Sahith. I think Big Tone's involved.
I got it.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I'm gonna ride for Big Tone in this one. Like I've seen Sahith throw. Didn't he throw out a first pitch and it not go great? Like
That's why he's a receiver.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm looking for those athletic traits, right? I have no doubts about Big
Yeah.
Tone's athletic traits.
High level traits.
Yeah.
Receiver's the
Be
hardest one because
flashy.
you need some depth there. Fine, I'm cool with Big Tone, and then you guys pick Sahith or Dunlap.
I'll go Dunlap. Yeah, he's 6'3". He's
Young.
probably going to
Yeah.
fill out in a lot of ways. Like he's a little skinny now, but
High ceiling.
Yeah, Nick Saban could pull him aside and teach him how to play.
And then I'm cool with McCarthy and Minwoo Lee in the slot.
Yeah, I feel like I like McCarthy. Like it just he knows like putting is such a
Feel.
feel thing, and it's just
He finds the
it's kind of like
openings,
route running,
the defense.
You can
right? Of
feel those
like he knows
pockets
how to
of,
get open, he knows how to work in space, he knows how to just find the
kind of like
the
Edelman and
creases.
Welker did back in the
And I
day.
want to keep Akshay and Lamprick on the roster. I think they're projects, both of them.
Make the case for Dunlap over like somebody like Sargent for me in terms of athleticism. I don't know if I see like high level traits out of Dunlap's athleticism.
I think
going
he's
good
got a
football.
bigger frame than Sargent. Sargent's only what, 6 foot. I mean, he's like a lot of fast twitch, but I think like Dunlap be a little more physical.
Okay. All right. Tight end nominees were Big Tone, which he's already slotted in, Sahith, Luke List, Davis Thompson, country music up and comer Trace Crow, Brandon Matthews, Keegan, Adam Scott, Bryson, Nelly Korda, and Taylor Pendrith.
I think it's
I'm going
Bryson.
Keegan.
Bryson and Keegan sounds like a good one too.
Yeah.
I feel like you got to find a spot for Bryson on the field somewhere. So like
he's a lot
what do you-
bigger
if you
than
don't-
Keegan, or like more physical. I think Bryson would be.
But
than
Keegan's what, 6'4"?
Keegan is
Bryson-
tall. He's a large dude.
Just
So
can't.
I feel like they would play well off of each other. Like I feel like Bryson would take pride in his in some blocking and being.
I feel like you're drafting Bryson in your fantasy draft with upside, and Keegan's like you're getting him in the 12th round. Like, yeah, I gotta keep seeing that. It's like Austin Hooper. I see that guy's name every year. Like, yeah, he's probably not going to get me more than 5 points, but it's a tough week with the buys.
Keegan's kind of scrawny, guys. I just don't see him blocking. Right? I mean, I could see him.
I think he's
We don't need him
Scrawny.
to block.
Fishburne.
That's why he's our backup tight end. I think like he is not someone you work in the run game. Like Nelly Korda.
Okay. All right. Offensive line. A lot of different nominations here. I'm just going to go through all the offensive line nominations here, and we got to figure out where they slot in. We have Leash, Christo Lambrecht, Harry Hall, Ben On, Pat Perez as Richie Incognito, Ernie Els, Sung J M, Sep Straka, Jason Kokrak, John Rahm, Bob McIntyre, Shane Lowry, Patrick Cantlay, Harold Varner, Kiradek, Bob McIntyre again, Robert Carlson, Sammy Valimaki, Patrick Fishburne, Neil Shipley, Bo Hostler, Hudson Swafford, and Hideki are all our nominations for offensive line.
All right. Before we do this, I think we have to decide: is Sep Straka on defense or on offense?
I think
Because
he's on
Sep is
defense.
like a potential number one like franchise pick either side.
I think he's on
So
defense.
is Sep our left tackle or is he going on the defensive
I
side?
think he's on the defensive side
think so
because I
too.
think we have more depth on the offensive side.
Okay,
Completely
that's
agree.
a good point. I like that.
Completely agree.
All
I
right,
like
who's our
his
left
mindset
tackle?
for defense.
I'm a big fan of Leash at left tackle as the wily veteran that's just gotten it done for years with footwork and
Leash
and
is how
prep.
old?
It's like 42.
I
Yeah,
don't
this
think
might
he's that
be
old.
his last
He's
ride.
like
then.
39.
I feel like we need to develop somebody behind him that could be our eventual.
I love Shipley on the other side at right tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a must.
I think Sung Jae is 1000% the left guard,
Yes.
Yep.
and I think that Rom is the center.
Man,
So who's our right guard?
That's
I
what
had
I'm.
Kiradech still hanging in there, but
Kiradech, Big Bob would be my two.
I think
so.
Harry
What about-
Hall.
Kokrak or on.
I like Coke. I
On.
got to get Kokrak in there. I like that guy in interior.
I like Kiradech as like our floater. I said that I was Bo
Or
Hostler,
swing
but
tackle.
they like Kiradech is he's a vet who's been on the team. He's no longer a starter, but there's still a spot for him.
Knows how to play every position.
Are we not putting
On the
Shipley at
offensive
right
line.
tackle then?
No, we do.
Okay.
Shipley is our right tackle. I think we're all in agreement.
So we have this is what we have is Leishman at left tackle, Sung Jae at left guard, Rom at center, Jason Kokrak right guard, and Neil Shipley at right tackle.
All right, I think you got to get Ben on coached up as your future left tackle because Leash
He's
is
suspended right now. So
That's why we brought back Leash because
Yes.
Ben got suspended for the first half of the season. Is that how it is?
Yes.
I love that. Bedard is the sixth.
guys, couple guys that I think we have to get him involved somewhere.
Okay.
Is Patrick Fishburne is an absolute fucking unit. He's huge.
Okay.
Like, I think he'd be a good offensive lineman. And then I think the more I think about it, the more I like Brandon Matthews at tight end instead of Keegan. Like Neil, you've hung out with Brandon.
Okay, I have, but my point is this: there has to be some acknowledgement of like he's not a top 50 player in the world. You know, like is he an like? There's a lot of guys that are like project as great athletes. They just don't know ball. They don't play good football. And Brandon Matthews might be one of those guys.
You're saying he's a combine He's
Yes,
a combine
that's
freak,
exactly what
but
I'm saying.
He's
It's
got
a Mike
measurables, but
Mamula
he doesn't know how to play
situation.
ball.
It's interesting.
Guy can't get open. Is my point.
TC, I think maybe Fishburne fits in on the D line because I still think we could use a little
Yeah.
bit more strength on the D line.
He's got enough beef, I think. Yeah.
6'4", 220 on the PGA Tour website.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
again, Kyle
I guess-
Westmoreland, I want to find a spot for that guy because I feel like we're leaving something on the table there somewhere.
You could talk me into Westmoreland at running back if we feel like we gotta, we need depth there.
Listen, if you don't feel like Shane Lowry is our nose tackle, then we could flip Shane over to the offensive side of the ball
No,
too.
I think with 1-2 punch of Sep and Shane, whether we're running a 3-4 or a 4-3, like
Okay.
both of those guys we are building our team around those two as run stoppers.
Love it. Okay.
All right. So I'm going to put.
And Rom is our center. We're good there.
I like that.
I feel like we're aligned there.
Well, that frees Bob to be up somewhere. Like, I don't know if Bob's like a rotational defensive. I'm not sure if Bob's not playing center. If he didn't make him this
I just
roster.
don't know
not
how
sure he's
good of
making
an
my
athlete
team.
Bob
Yeah,
is.
I know. Bob might not be. He's a backup O lineman for me right now.
Okay. He's our backup center, maybe.
I just don't know how committed he is to it. I mean, he might take weeks off just to go party again back home. Like, I don't know, instead of playing the signature events. So am I putting Lowry and Sep as our D tackles and we're going 4-3?
I think so.
I think so too.
Makes for a tough choice, but yeah, I'm all right. I'm down with that.
Honestly, solid. We could run that like old Rich Rod 4-2-5.
The 3-3-5 is what he
scheme
did.
to-
He was
the 3-3-5,
3-3-5.
yeah.
It worked great. Yeah.
I just think you could move Sep out to the edge if you had to. Like he's gonna
Yes.
set the edge for you too. Like
He could be a TJ Watt type.
yeah, it's not. I think he is versatile enough. Lowry is anchoring the middle in a 3-4,
But I feel like we got a
But-
lot of edge rushers, right? And I think we need.
which is good. That's what we want, man. We got great ingredients, good groceries on the defensive line right now. If we can build around those two.
We need depth, right? You can't have enough depth on
Then
the defense.
are we putting Taylor Pendrith in the middle then, and then moving Sep out to the edge?
No, I think Pendrith. I think
Pendrith's
Sep
an
is
edge
like
player.
Sep is going to anchor the middle for us. I think Pendrith is a no-brainer on the outside.
Okay.
Really, as a starter.
If we're running a 3-4, I feel like it's Pendrith, Lowry, and Straka, and then you hit me with your stand up.
Oh, we are running a 3-4.
If we are, and if we're running a 4-3, I think this still works because then I think Straka moves inside, and we've got options on the outside.
Okay. I feel like I like Sep very much as like an interior, like I don't know, like him standing up necessarily.
Yeah, it might be
He's just gonna
overestimating
eat space.
his athleticism a little bit. I think
No. But all
No, I
in
mean,
a
he knows how to
3-4
run.
and a
He's from
4-3.
he's from
You
Austria.
have three guys down. So like Lowry and Straka are down, hand in the ground, regardless of if we're playing 3-4 or 4-3.
Right. Okay, so who is your I think Cam Young, this is where like I was saying, he's your freaking like edge guy. Is put another 20 pounds on him. He's got enough speed. He's gonna be a hard hitter.
Just worry if there's enough length there.
that's where I'm. If
No,
I'm
it's like Micah Parsons, TC. Like it's kind of the guy is just he's explosive. I'm with you. If it's a 4-3, he's playing weak side linebacker. If it's a 3-4, he's kind of the floating blitzer.
Okay. And then Fishburne's up there as well.
say
I think.
Fishburne or Westmoreland need to be involved somewhere up with the hog mollies. I think. I'll put
I mean,
Fishburne.
I think we could go like 6 different dudes at, outside linebacker, like 3-4 outside linebacker, and you just get a massive rotation going. You get, Luke List, you get Rico, you get Cam Young, you get
Hovland.
All right, but let's start here. You basically, if we're running a 4-3, we have 4 guys.
Yep.
With this one right here, you got Pendrith and Fishburne on the outside. You got Lowry and Straka on the inside. If we're running a 3-4, you probably drop Fishburne and you move Pendrith, Lowry, and Straka to your 3 down. And then we have Cam Young, I think is a non-negotiable at linebacker in either scheme.
Koepka's going to be our
then-
strong side linebacker no matter what, right?
Well,
Well, it's
that's
like,
where we got to talk
you
about
want
it.
Koepka in the middle, like
Okay.
you got the interior backers. where
If
you
we're running a
wanna-
4-3, then the Cat is our middle linebacker. If we're running a 3-4,
Cat is not making. It's not on the field, guys. What are we? We can't walk.
Cat
What are
is
we-
on the
Listen,
field.
we've made Neil
What
and
are
I
we
made a very compelling
doing?
case for the Cat.
I
to be
loved
our-
it. KV,
our
you
leader.
It's
totally sold me
insane.
on that one.
Thank you.
It's insane.
like It's not.
It's a Vince Carter.
Cat
I
can
got
be on
one
the
more. I
team,
got
but
one more. Solid.
He's Connor Stallions.
gonna-
He's Connor Stallions. I'm sorry. He's not. He
No.
can't walk.
All right. If here's I'll lay it. My if we're running a 3-4, my 4 linebackers are, you got Cam Young, you got Kepka, and then you've got Stallings, and you could throw Victor in there as the 4th guy. Like that if you're going 4 across. If we're going 4-3, I might have to move Victor out to safety.
Okay.
I think Victor's a safety all day long, man.
Let's just
But
say
just
we're
don't
The problem
4-3.
is-
Let's say we're 4-3. Like we're
Okay.
messing around with too many formations here, and it's confusing.
Fair
I'm
enough.
telling you,
with-
Goddard has to be in the mix. Goddard's elite.
Okay, so
traits.
the 3 guys who I think are like some of our best athletes, Ludwig, Xander, and Victor. You got to find a spot. We know Cam Young is already on the field. So where do we find who's the odd man out amongst those 3? This is an interesting question.
I think
I
Hovland
you
could
could,
play.
I feel like
you
we
could
have
talk
different
me into in a
packages, right?
4-3. You want a tall, lanky dude at your strong side. You could talk me into Ludwig in that position, and then you basically go Xander and Victor at safety.
Okay.
And Kepka's in the middle, and Cam Young is at weak side linebacker.
We're betting on traits. We're betting on skills. We're betting on upside there.
And a lot of
Versatility.
versatility across basically safeties and linebacker, like some interchangeability. I feel pretty good about that lineup.
I do too.
Okay.
Our
All
corners.
right, the Cattles have to sit, but it's,
Well, no, the cat's in there. He's on the team still. I'm not.
Cat's got a clipboard, and he's like the, it's like the player coach.
He needs an earpiece. He absolutely needs an earpiece.
God, the Cat as a D line coach would be sick.
Ooh, yeah.
Who are our corners? We have Billy Horschel. That's an easy one.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think Rory's probably the easiest corner.
I think
I
it's
think-
Billy and
yeah.
Rory is like
Billy and Rory.
our two outside corners, and then for nickel,
Hatton. Like, you can't trust Hatton, but you need to like have him on the field, like on passing downs to piss off somebody.
Hatton
Lane.
does have a nickel attitude. But
I would have
we had
Kim
Eric
Smith
Cole
before, yeah.
and JT were also nickel options.
JT can't tackle anybody.
Yeah.
He's an absolutely non-tackler. Like, if you want him to just bat passes away and like annoy the shit out of the receivers, that's fine. But like, if in any space, he's gonna olay it and just basically like let him run to the house. So if I'm an offensive coordinator, I'm running at JT every time. I'm gonna isolate him. I'm gonna freaking block down. And I'm gonna say, your guy's gonna make tackles. So that's
and his
that's
coaches.
not-
We don't want to hear from his dad either.
also that.
Hatton can't play for me. He cannot play for me. I need somebody that's more invested in the team. That he would be blaming everybody.
Then it's got to be Eric Cole. Like, yeah, does he get burned sometimes?
Sure.
Sure.
I
But
think
like,
Cole's a good nickel corner. I
yeah,
really do.
you know, you're kind of like, he's not good enough to be a starter, but he can play man coverage. He's kind of a one-trick pony.
I think Tommy could play too.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see Tommy being a kicker, even though I think Matt Fitzpatrick is the best kicker nomination.
Yeah, I think Tommy's a kicker.
Fuck off.
So we put in Fitz as kicker then?
I think so.
God, I don't know. I was really liking my Henley and Malnati option.
That is so good, Neil. I don't know. I honestly, I think we could find another spot for Fitzpatrick. I love Malnati as like a kicker.
We're kind of out of spots. I don't know where
I
else.
know.
We're
gotta make
spotting.
some
Can't
hard
carry 3
decisions.
kickers. Yeah.
I think Aaron Ride to me is definitely the punter.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Poor Richard Bland.
Our
doesn't have a
returners.
spot. I mean, how bad do you want Ricky on the team? Like, I feel like Ricky's a good, glue guy, good teammate.
Ricky's been on the team for 10 years now.
I just don't think he's got speed. I'm just not seeing the speed that I would need out of.
I'm pretty set on Harmon's my punt returner. I know.
That's so stupid.
I know. I think I love it. I think Hunter, excuse me, Brian Harmon could also be like a gunner. He's literally like a guy who's just been on the squad for a number of years.
He's not a big dude. He's got great hands.
What does Harmon get you that Denny McCarthy doesn't?
I mean, we need to fill out 53. It's not like he's a starter. Like Harmon can.
Yeah, he's not starting on offense, but like
I don't want to get Denny hurt. Like
exactly.
punt.
Like Denny might be a feature back for us or a
Cam Smith.
You know what, Harmon? You know what Neil Harmon's going to do? He's going to get you 7-8 yards every.
That's right, and he's not going to make any mistakes.
He's going to catch every ball, but he's never going to bust one open except maybe like once a year.
We're doing this, but it's on you guys.
This
one's on you guys. This is you're going to ride for that one.
Yeah.
You guys and Johnson Wagner are special teams.
It's great when you get like an off speed, like almost there's like the knuckleball version, like knuckleball pitch in football when
Guy's
you got
so slow that
like a slow dude, but he's just shifty. That's Harmon. He's like, God, he just does. Nobody ever lines up on him. You know, he just
kind of feels like
avoids the
Henley
big hit,
too.
and he never drops punts. Harmon never drops punts, and that's what I care about. We got
He's
an offense that's not
reliable.
going to beat us. We got a rabid defense, and we're going to win on special teams with Harmon.
The holder.
Going back to corners, Solly, I think Cam Smith is a nickel.
Yeah.
Okay.
The mangy dog. I think he's got that attitude. He's got the
Yeah.
body for it.
You want him
He's
over
got the
Eric Cole
skill
then?
set.
I think that's a
so.
good
I
one
think
too.
there's
We
just
should have a
more,
little
more upside there.
You know what? I loved Cam's attitude like when he was a dog. I don't know if he's a dog right now. I feel like you need to motivate him, TC. You need to get him back to
But
the
you're
player he
betting on
was.
traits. He's still young enough. And then Eric Cole's like our dime, right? Like
Okay.
we're bringing him in special packages.
JT is
Okay.
the holder. Is that right?
Sure.
Perfect.
We have
Can't leave him behind.
Trevor Ummerman's the coach. Johnson Wagner's the offensive coordinator. Gary Player's the defensive coordinator. Arnold Palmer's the owner, and Tiger Woods is Connor Stallions.
Who's that guy who was Belichick's right hand man? It was like the guy who it was Connor Stallions before it was Connor Stallions. It's like it was the old guy. God dang it. Who was it?
I know who you're
Wrote a big
talking
story
about.
about him. He was like
No
just
movie
a
guy.
wizard who just like remembered everything. Everyone thought he was like kind of a cheater kind of situation.
I would be happy to move Peter Malnati to equipment manager.
That could work too.
I think he's on. He's on staff though.
Ernie
We
Adams,
want
is that
Peter
right?
on the squad.
Ernie Adams, is that the name?
Ernie Adams. Yep,
Yep.
that's
Ernie
exactly
Adams,
right.
yeah.
Yep.
Malnati could also be like our our PR guy, media relations guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fan
Fan engagement.
Chief fan officer.
I feel pretty damn good about this team.
All right, let's go through. This is final roster. Okay, we're not doing any more shifts from here on out. This is the roster for the next year. Scotty's our quarterback. Keith Mitchell's our backup quarterback. Jake Knapp is our running back. Gary Woodland is our second running back. Our fullback / H-backs are Kurt Kitayama and Ryan Fox. We have Tony Finau, Nick Dunlap, and Denny McCarthy and Minwoo Lee are our receivers. Bryson is our tight end with Keegan Bradley backing him up. Mark Leishman is our left tackle only until Ben On gets back from suspension. Sung Jae is our left guard. John Rahm is our center. Kokrak is our right guard. Neil Shipley is our right tackle. Defensive ends are Taylor Pendrith and Patrick Fishburne. Our D tackles are Shane Lowry and Sepp Straka. Strong side linebacker is Ludwig Aberg. The will backer is Cam Young. Mike backer is Brooks Koepka. Our corners are Billy Horschel and Roy McElroy. Our safeties are Xander Schauffele and Victor Hovland. Our nickel back is Cam Smith, and Eric Cole is our dime back. Matt Fitzpatrick's our kicker. Aaron Rye is our punter. Brian Harmon is our returner, and JT is our holder. That is our
Hell
team.
yes.
It's great. I'm sorry we couldn't find a spot for Max, but hashtag hit harder, play better.
It's business, man.
Kyle
And we got some
Westmoreland.
developmental guys like Lamprecht he's in there. I think Goddard is linebacker depth, no brainer.
Westmoreland is a regret as well, but he's got to pick up with some other team.
Westmoreland, I was gonna say he's going through waivers right now, and he's gonna get picked up by.
We've got Ches and we've got Harold Varner on the practice squad.
Was there any live guys that we kind of overlooked that we didn't put? I mean,
I'm mad DJ didn't get a
Taylor Gooch.
DJ receiver. I feel like that was.
He's been doing it for 10 years though now, and it's like
we agreed he's kind of a Julio Jones situation.
I don't know.
A historically good player, but just doesn't have it anymore.
We didn't have a spot for Blandy, which is a bummer. Didn't
Blandy
have a spot for Taylor Gooch, despite he's going to have an asterisk basically because he wasn't on this team. I don't know.
Is Big Tone on the team?
He's a receiver.
Big Tone is on the team.
Okay.
He's
And Sahith,
oh
receiver?
gosh, we do not have Sahith on the team currently.
Ooh.
I think that's a good frame, good athleticism.
I mean, it was Dunlap or Sahith. I mean, you could talk me into Sahith over Dunlap.
I think Sahith and Finau are maybe a bit too similar, and Finau beats him out on athletic traits, and then Dunlap fills a different role.
Patrick Reed didn't make the team.
Sam Burns didn't make the team. I feel like Burns is a
yeah.
pretty good athlete. That's probably a miss on our part, but hey, we gotta go to war with the guys we got right now. 53 man.
We'll reevaluate next year. Like show us some
That's right.
stuff in the next year. Show us some physical traits, and we will. We'll definitely be looking to move some guys off some spots. We know that one little slip up, and that might happen.
Like Brandon Matthews, like you got to play better golf, man.
Yeah.
Like if you want to make this team,
100%.
your golf's got to improve. And then which Omni property are we doing?
I think
training
Bedford
camp
Springs. Feels like a really good training
Bedford,
camp.
so we could do Bedford Springs, we could do Mount Washington, we could do the Homestead, we could do Grove Park Inn. Those are kind of our four best options there. I think Bedford Springs would be perfect.
Bedford Springs.
Yeah, it's cool out there in the Alleghenies.
We'll look
Any
into that.
historical picks, guys? Do you feel like you didn't, if we could go back in time? I threw Ian Wisdom in there just because, like, Ian Wisdom's like a brawler. Like, absolutely, he could play somewhere on my spot, whether it's
Perfect like nose tackle guy, I think. Too,
Ray
just like-
Floyd would be on my list
yes
or something.
Yes,
Don't know what. Maybe a
I think
Kenny
Else
Stabler
is-
type quarterback.
yes.
I think Ernie Els is
Oh,
one of the best,
Yeah.
left tackles of all time. Right? Like
okay.
Maybe that's a future episode. I think we could do this for literally hours. This was a lot of fun. I'm excited about our team. Excited to go to battle. Excited for the NFL season. Check out the Ball Knowers. They're back up on the Trap Draw. Their season preview is up. It was great entertainment, like it always is. So greatly appreciate that. Anything else to shout out as we get into the next coming week? We have Solheim stuff coming up. You guys will be there on site for that. Live shows for all that, happy hour, all that good stuff.
check out TPI video.
Oh
that we
God,
put up.
so good.
Speaking of physical traits and everything, I don't think anybody from our squad is going to be going to play in the NFL anytime soon based on that. But that was
Well, if you like that TPI video, TC and I are up next. Those are in the edit bay for October, so look out for those.
I realized like 30 minutes into the video, I was just sitting at my desk, just like staring up at it with just awe in my eyes. It was just absolutely captivating. Greg Rose is like truly a savant. Like, it was such a freaking good video. So.
Honestly, we might have to get Greg Rose on the coaching
he
staff.
might be our director of strength and
Oh,
conditioning.
I'm
Yeah.
sold there. That's the
Yeah.
easiest decision we
Yeah.
possibly could have.
What if he rehabs the cat and the cat's able to
He
give us
can't
some reps?
walk?
Thank you, KVV. He
Has
doesn't
he got
have
with
to
Greg
walk.
Rose? You don't know.
Solly, the cat doesn't have to walk to play middle linebacker. He has to thump, and he's gonna thump.
He's not gonna thump.
Yes.
He's not gonna.
I don't think he can thump
I don't-
week after week though. Like the cat needs like 6 bye weeks.
And
Well-
how did you not get this one, TC? I don't know if he's getting on the field. I don't know if his pee is clean enough to be getting on the field here.
Well,
It's true.
we won't go there.
We'll leave it there.
I think this would also be a really interesting exercise if we ever did it of like, 2 of us or 4 of us and we split into teams of 2 of like we do an actual draft
Mhm.
and we have to,
Yeah.
like each team is and then all right, whose team's better? Whose
Yeah.
team would beat the other team kind of thing.
A lot of offshoots to that. So, anyways, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope everyone has a great week. We'll be back with a bunch of live shows later this week. Crack on.